Well, fellas, we got some bad news. Today is December 3rd. So I don't really know what to do here. I think I have a path forward, but you know, hang on, I got stuff in my pockets. Anyhow, so I got the bearing race out of here, and I ordered a bunch of stuff last week. I ordered a Dodge clutch with the 1.25" input shaft. I ordered the input shaft, and I ordered a starter. So my starter's here, and it's happy. My seal here for my bearing retainers here, it's happy. But the Dodge clutch doesn't fit. When GM says they have an 11-inch clutch, they mean it. So this guy here is the same style as the GM clutch. So let me see if I can hold this thing and put this in. Oh, these things are not light. When you put this guy in here, right there's a dowel pin, and you can just see it. You know, it doesn't fit. So that kind of sucks a lot. It really throws a kibosh to me running my 1.25" input shaft that I spent a lot of money on. The other downfall is that somebody stole my input shaft. It said delivered. I never got confirmation in the order, and so I went looked tracking a couple days later, and it said it was there. So I opened my drop box and it was gone. There was no box in sight. Fortunately, that company is awesome. They're really good to work with. They're working with me on trying to get another one, and I don't know. They're a really good company to work with. Really good people. They're based out of Billings, Montana. That's that Torque King 4x4. I don't know. I got to figure out how to even make a clutch fit. I can't find a 1.25" by 12-inch clutch. You can get the 12.25" with an 1.25" spline, or you can get an 11-inch with an 1.125" spline. There's another company that I was directed to, so I reached out to Impact to see if they even made a clutch, and they said they did. They had part numbers, but they can't sell it to me. So they referred me to another place in Tennessee, and that guy said, I build clutches. I can probably buy 2 discs and take them apart, use the parts that you want, and then throw the rest away. I was like, well, why would you do that? I already have 2 discs. Can I send my discs down to you and have you disassemble them and put the right hub in with the right diameter friction material? And he said, send me a picture of them and I'll let you know. So my next step today is to send a guy a picture of these 2 discs and see if he can take this hub and put it in this disc, or vice versa. I don't know how the hell he's going to do it, but I don't know. This is really starting to suck a little bit. I kind of wish I would have just sent it with the 1.125" input shaft and waited for something to break. I might still end up doing that. I don't know. I'm kind of at a loss today. So, yeah, we'll see what happens down the road. But I don't think I'm working on anything tonight. I kind of just, I'm really behind. We got a ton of snow. We got a ton of snow coming. And the neighbor's plow truck is down, which sucks. But it is what it is. And I gotta go help him. I gotta make sure my stuff's ready to push snow. And I also gotta make sure this fits in. Oh yeah, that fits in there. So, what is it hitting on? Oh, is it just hitting that? Yeah, no? I don't know. Let me flip it over and look at it again. Oh, the freaking... I don't know. It looks like it fits, so that's kind of cool. But, yeah, so right there's centered. You can see the... boy, why is my lighting way off? How's that? Yeah, you can kind of see the pressure plate creeping up in there. Because it's the wrong diameter, but hey. I don't know. This kind of sucks. It's getting old. But I guess that's what happens with a project. Is you got to figure out what the hell you're doing and then make it all work. So, I don't know. I'm kind of running out of money. I'm running out of time. I wanted to have this thing running by Christmas, and here I am still trying to put the transmission together. So, I don't know if Christmas is going to work anymore, but I really want this thing running this winter so that I can use it instead of my nice Duramax. Worst case, I'll run the 1.1/8 input shaft and just buy a new bearing and race and put a new bearing in it and call it a day. But I'm this far. I'd really like to make this work and see if it's even possible. So, I don't know. I know I kind of rambled a lot, and there was a lot to say that I had parts stolen, my disc doesn't fit, and I should have stuck with the old plan. But, yeah, I'm going to go forward with this thing, and until I absolutely can't hit a wall, or until I absolutely hit a wall and can't go any further forward, I'm going to try to put an 1.25" input shaft in this fucking thing. So, tonight I'll try to get a bunch more videos out. I know I'm falling way behind on those too. I don't even know if I need to make them because they don't really help you at all since they're wrong. But hey, you got to see how I'm learning so you can learn. At least that's my theory. Anyhow, more to come on this. I'll get an answer from those guys tomorrow if they can assemble the larger hub into the smaller disc, and then we'll go from there. Well, update number 35 for the night. I have just discovered that those guys can definitely do it, and it's only going to cost like $50. So I got my Dodge clutch here. I got my 6.5 clutch here, and I'm going to ship that bad boy to Tennessee. And hopefully in a week or so, I can have my 1.25" by 12" clutch, and we'll put this thing together for the last time. So in the meantime, I got my harness up on the bench. I bought these solder sleeves, so we'll go through, you know, I got to cap all of these things off that I marked in yellow, and then I also want to bring out all of my standalone wires. So I got my clutch switch, I got constant hot. When this is all done, there's going to be like 3 or 4 wires that come out of this harness that I'll tie into my 6.5, and then we'll be ready to rock this thing. So as soon as this shows up, then I can put this together. I might try to bleed this cylinder in the meantime. We'll see how I'm doing next week on motivation and time. So yeah, we'll cross that bridge when we get there, but we got a path forward. Well, today we're back on the wiring harness. Haven't messed with these things yet, but we're gonna try to get this thing buttoned up, wrapped up, and put back in wire loom today. So I just came back from the truck. I harvested this. This is the pass through into the cab, and then the big plug that goes down by your the firewall on the inside, and this one plugs into the power unit on the engine bay. So I saw it had a bunch of nice heavy wires in it, and figured that might be somewhat useful to me for, you know, trying to bring just a handful of pigtails out of this for my powers and stuff. So yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and tear this thing out, weed out all the big guys that I want, and then move on from there. So that took me about, say an hour or so, and I got, these are 30 inches maybe, I don't know, not super long. I don't know. You can argue against reusing wire or whatever, but for all the more time it took, these guys here is 13 bucks a roll, and they only had red, black, and a couple other colors. I really wanted a heavy pink wire and a heavy orange wire, so I'm happy I got those, and I got the blue one too. That way, over here I can actually color code some of this. I want to make my key on power and my Ficum power two different ones. Same thing, I can color code my enable wire with one of the smaller ones out of there or something. You know, just make it a little bit easier so that when I'm hooking this up I can just blindly do it and not have to retrace this stuff again. So yeah, now I'll go in and cap these off, solder in a couple more grounds and stuff that I want, and you know, just kind of make the whole thing a little bit neater. And then I'll tie into everything I got sticking out here, tape it all up nice, and then you won't even know I messed with it. It'll be a really nice standalone harness. So I might video one or two of the solder sleeves, not sure, but I'm definitely not going to video this whole thing. It'll probably just bore you to death of me weeding through wires. I think I got the colors all laid out pretty well in a couple of the other videos on what each wire does, and between that and the pinouts here for the connectors, it's not that hard. Like I said, everything's just a wire, so if you follow one end to the other, then you can't screw it up. So yeah, I'll show you what it looks like to solder one of these together. So here's my plan for capping wires off. I labeled this one. I don't think I need it, but I stripped it back still, and then I solder sleeved it. Maybe you're gonna focus. There we go. So I solder sleeved it. You can see right here is all the lead that wicked into the wire. My theory is that that'll help seal it off and keep any oxygen out of it so it can't corrode back. Then this is all heat shrunk really tight to the wire. The other end I left open and heat shrunk it, got it really hot, and then squeezed on it with pliers, and it sealed the end off really well. So once it's sealed, I snipped it off, and I don't think that that'll ever corrode and find its way back into the ECM. So everything I cap off, I'll probably do that. And then all this other stuff that needs soldered will just get solder sleeved as normal, and we'll go from there. So let me do a couple more, get a little more fluent, and then I'll show you how to do it right. Well, I think I've done enough now that I'm pretty much a professional, which I think the magic number is 3. So I did a yellow one with all my grounds, and I brought a ground out too. That's signal ground, and then this is my power ground. So that was my first one I did, and I learned on this one that coloring in here, this red stuff, or on this one the yellow stuff, is actually glue. So it smears itself out and glues everything together after it seals. So looking in the end of this thing, well, that's a lost cause. But if you trust me, that actually glued itself shut inside of there. So this is just a butane soldering iron with a heat tip on it. I just start with heating up the solder joint first and get that thing nice and hot, and you'll see it actually wick out. I'm not really sure if it's actually doing a good job at soldering the wires, but it blows itself out the tube on these little ones. And there it goes. And then just heat up the heat shrink and then pull the glue out. It takes a fair amount of heat on these. Yeah, that's all there is to it. And then said and done, I'll just clip these right in the middle of the glue spot. And then we'll be done with it. So, step 5, I got my label made. This is my TCM communication. Probably won't ever need those ever again, but might as well tape them up, lay them, and then tuck them in nicely so that, I don't know, troubleshooting down the road, it'll be really nice to know what all these wires are that I disconnected. So, yeah. I'll keep working at this and then have a finished harness by the end of the day. So this set of wires here, this comes off that Vicom relay, the EDU. I figure this is a little bit more important than all the other ones. It's got a little bit more power going to it. Still not a lot, it's like an amp or something. But being this big bundle of wire, and this one, I pulled on everything and it's tight, but it just didn't solder as nice as I'd like it to. The solder didn't really wick into the copper like these smaller ones. If you look at this guy here, you know, that's a pretty nice, well, can I go closer? No. If you trust me, and I say, I made a nice solder joint. How about that? Now can I see it? No. It did a good job, okay? That's what I'm trying to say. I like it. So, yeah, with this one, I'm just gonna solder it, tin both sides, solder it together, and then put my solder sleeve on afterwards just to seal it off. So, we'll see how that goes. I'll bring it back in after I do it. That's a two-hand operation. Well, there she is. It's not my finest solder job, but they're stuck together in a timely manner, and I think they're sealed off pretty good. It took a little bit of heat to get the glue down in them cracks, but now it's there. Doesn't look too bad. Suppose if we got problems, I can address them down the road. But yeah, now we got our EDU control and our power to it. So we just gotta put 12 volts on either side of that relay, and that guy's ready to rip. So I have a couple wires here on the old, bring her back to 1. There you go. We got a nicked wire there. I forget what it was, but it wasn't that important. The other ones, I think they just got secondhand copper on them, or secondhand corrosion on them, but I can always cut and strip that one and do the same. So, other than that, all the other wires in here looked pretty good. So, I'll root through, double check everything, and then do what I gotta do here. Then this bad boy is ready to get taped up. Oh, I should probably, well, I don't know. I'll just hang that one out for now. It can ride with the AC clutch in case I need it. But yeah. Other than that, everybody's labeled and ready to rip, so I'll keep taping, and then we'll have just a pigtail hanging off the back of it for tying into my other harness. You know, old Alley Cat, she's the gift that keeps on giving. It's got a ton of different wire colors in here. So, I just threw in 2 pins into my ECM that I had previously removed. I kept all my old wires with the ECM pins on them. And now I got an orange and a green in here for a PTO on and a neutral safety switch to run my PTO signal. And this guy came up a little bit short, but don't worry, Allison's got you. She's got a green and white in her too. I did it a couple other times in here. This yellow came out of there, and I think this yellow and black came out of there. So, you know, don't throw your wiring away until you're done with it. So, that's all this stuff I harvested. Well, I showed you that earlier. I pulled all that out of the pass through to the cab. So, I don't know. Thought I'd just mention that if you're not running it, that harness is useless to me, and I don't think anybody'd want it. So, I'm just going to tear it apart until I run out of wires to tear. Well, it's a little later now, and the Duramax harness I already threw it on the ground. I should have done this beforehand, but here's my all of my stuff right here. It's all wound up nicely coming out of this one little, or two spots here. So yeah, everything else is loomed up nice. This is my data connector. I found all my cruise control stuff. My check engine light comes off of this plug, and then yeah, everything else comes out here. So I got grounds, I got my FICM control, like the EDU stuff here. This is for the PTO from excuse me, So Inclined. I got battery power, I got key on power, I got my start stuff. So this is my starter relay. So I wrapped all this up good and nice. It's got loom everywhere and tape. And put probably freaking a roll and a half of electrical tape into that thing. But now it's ready to go. And I got my 6.5 harness up here now. First thing I grabbed a hold of was my glow plug stuff and my starter wire. So I'm not sure which start wire I'm going to use, whether it be the 6.5 or the Duramax start wire, but I'll figure that out. I gotta get this thing opened up, but that all this glow plug stuff can go away. This is my map sensor. That looks like the 6.5 injection pump plug, maybe, I don't know. That's part of it too. There's a bunch of crap in here you don't need. This might be my water and fuel stuff there. But same thing as the other one. I'm going to take all the loom off, weed it out, figure out what I don't need. This is my AC compressor stuff, so I might hang on to them, because that'll get run off of this harness. Oh, I got some stuff twisted together here that's just kind of exposed. What's that go to? That looks like a pressure sensor plug of sorts. Oh, maybe these go down to the transmission. That might be what this harness does. That's a speed sensor, and then I don't know. Yeah, we'll figure it out. It's pretty greasy, so it's got to go down underneath the engine. But yeah, so you'll get to see the same stuff with this one. It's a lot simpler. This stuff all goes through this pass-through, so I'll more than likely just clip it out here, and then back here I'll just solder, put my solder sleeves on and seal them off before they go into the cab. And then yeah, hopefully that's a long way for stuff to corrode to get into the ECM connectors. So yeah, without further ado, I'll strip this thing down, get rid of my glow plug stuff for sure, and then all my other, this stuff was kind of labeled once upon a time, but it's since been worn off with years. Did a, oh, look at that, what's that say? That says light. That must be like tail lights. I don't know. No, it can't be tail lights. It's some sort of light though, I'll give you that. Headlights. That's gotta be headlights. So, this is my fancy pants fuel pump relay. I had a little light on there so you knew it was running, because my oil pressure switch gave out and quit running the lift pump. So I had a little light in here, which is kind of nice. I don't know. Anyhow, you know the drill. We're going to tear it down, make it pretty, put it back together, and tape it up.